welcome to Positive Energy with Crystals. My name's Hillary, and today we're doing a book review. This is The Witching Stones by Nicholas Pearson. This is the first time I've actually reviewed a fairly new release. I've done ones that have been out for a long time and reviewed them, but this is the first time. This is a new, fairly, I think like October is when it came out, of 2025. So this is kind of exciting. Now, I bought this book off of Amazon. I wasn't sent it, so this is nobody, giving it to me. This is my full, paid for it myself review. I didn't realize who the author was until on the back. Yeah, I saw his picture on the back. So, if I had seen that, I probably wouldn't have ordered it. Only because, and it was probably a good thing I didn't know that. Earlier this year, I had watched part of an interview, and I don't remember who it was with. And I can't remember. I don't remember much about it. I remember that I watched part of it. And something Nicholas Pearson said made me furious. Like, didn't even give him the chance to explain more. I ended the video and thought, well, I'm never reading or watching anything this person ever does. And I was mad. I don't remember what he said, what it was about. I just remember his face from the video, and I feel bad because I'm bad about that. I hold grudges when you say something. Now, with crystals, I know there's so many things. I work with crystals different than other people work with crystals, and I if I don't agree with something, I usually just move on. But whatever he said, just totally, that was it. I was done with him. Didn't care. So, I was a little worried when I got the book. And I was also a little annoyed because it's one of those... Oh, there's my bookmark. Here's pictures, there's nothing throughout the middle, and then there's some pictures. And I thought, well, this is I thought this was going to be more of a general information. I now understand why the picture's on the cover, because it's a very pretty cover. And it's got raised, the words are raised, the images are glossy when the rest is kind of a matte feel. It's a great cover. So he spent a lot of money on this cover, and so added color. That way he could have some colored photos. I get that now. But my thing with, I want images in my crystal books. Judy Hall's Crystal Bible very much has spoiled me with that, and I guess I kind of hold everybody to that standard now. So, I went into this not thinking I was going to like this book. And I was totally expecting to go full on rant mode and say I didn't even finish it, and that's wrong. So, let's, the way that we're going to go through this is we're going to go through each section because I think it's important. I've got some of the crystals here. This is not a go over every crystal, generic crystal book. This is a more advanced book, and we'll get into more of that here in a little bit. But out of the crystal that he goes over in this book, I pulled out what I have, and I bought one. We'll get to that here in a little bit too. So we're going to go through, and I'll show you, if I've got the crystal, I'll show you the crystal result. And we'll talk about stuff. So let me do a little bit of rearranging so I can open the book and everything won't be in the way. So the introduction, can you see it? It goes into it discusses the differences between stones and rocks. It gives some history about about stones being used and as tools and other uses, and people traveling with them long distances, and even a little bit about the metaphysical history. It lists some ways to use stones. It gives a lot of good, like, what we're going to get into information. So each chapter has pretty much the same layout. Each chapter is, we focus on one stone. And from there we go, the stone is like the sciencey parts, and some history. Lore is the next section, and it goes over the folklore, myths, and legends of the stone. And then the third section in each chapter is craft, and that's the making magic parts, spells and rituals, crafts, recipes, divination, meditations, stuff like that. And I think that he explained that. Oh yeah, the navigating the book, that's where he was talking about that. And then in this foundations part, he talks about cleansing and charging stones. So let's just go ahead and we're going to go chapter by chapter because I think that's important for this. So in the front here are half the stones. So here is chapter 1. He's talking about Flint, and that's the image for Flint. So he starts off with the sciencey stuff and some historical stuff in the stone part. Use. And then we get into the lore. And this is super interesting. I actually prefer the lore over the sciencey stuff. I'm trying to get better about the sciencey parts, but lore has a lot of historical information in it too. But it's got the, like the stories and stuff that go with it. So then when we get into this one's got a lot of lore. Okay, and then the craft. So in the craft, we've got some metaphysical properties. An amulet. My fingers are getting cold because I've been keeping the heater off so I can record, and now they're getting cold. I'm going to take a break. So there's the amulet. A creativity ritual, which I love, and I'm going to have to find some flint and have to try this one. This one, I really like that. It's got a couple of healing rituals and igniting the witch fire, which that one's really good too. So the next one is Hagstone. I really wish I could find a Hagstone. I want to find a Hagstone so bad. It's got the same layout, so we're going to start off with the stone, and explains how it's made, used, the lore, which was really good, and then I love the lore part. It was really good. For the craft, we've got amulets, a clairvoyance ritual, which is really good, sinking your troubles ritual. I like the idea and intention, but I don't know. I don't understand how it's done. A counter storm ritual, an astral travel charm. I'm pretty sure the author lives in an area where it's easy to find hagstones everywhere because he keeps talking about throwing them. If I had one, no way I would throw it. But the ritual should... This counterstorm ritual, I honestly think I could do this one with... I think it would work better. I don't think it has to be a hagstone. I think this one would actually work better just using a regular stone from the area you live. Just like go outside and pick up a stone to do this one. I think it would actually work better to be a stone from where I live. So I'm gonna try to remember that for later. So that was hagstone. Like I said, I'm pretty sure as much as he talks about throwing them and just like abandoning them, he can find lots of hagstones. Those of us that can't, once we get a hagstone, we keep it very precious. Next, oh, I should have showed you up here. That's a hagstone, if you didn't know, with the circle in the middle. Here's his picture for Ammonite. I have some Ammonite jewelry. I don't have just a regular Ammonite. I got a pair of earrings, and then it goes on a pendant too. So that's my Ammonite. I don't wear them much because I'm worried about damaging them, and they're pretty good, but I don't know. To me, Ammonite just kind of seems kind of precious. That's probably just me. So I really like the sciencey part of this one. Probably because I've been fascinated with Ammonite for so long. It had a lot of really good information. I really liked that. The lore was really good too. It has lots of good information. Did I get into the craft yet? Did I miss it? Nope, we're still... Oh, here we go. Okay, so in the craft, we got a finger labyrinth for meditation or altered state of consciousness work. Connecting with spirits, like a focal point. Ancestral healing. And then a sachet for dream work. Alright, the next one, fossil urchin. Fairy loaves and starstones. So the fossil urchin, same stone and lore setup. There's a lot of fae mentioned in the lore, which was really fun. Lots of lore. Okay, and then in the craft, he talks about home protection, abundance, offerings to spirit, wish well, and astral travel. Next, I got my little bowl of salt here. I like working with salt. The stone and lore parts were really fun because I have used salt in my practice for a long time. So hearing why was fun. I really liked that. And that was a thing, you know, some of these that you worked with and you don't even really think about, you know, why have we used salt the way we have for all this time. So I really like that. And then in the craft, my hands are really cold. We've got lots of uses, including protection, banishing, luck, offerings, lots more. There's Blessed salt and holy water, healing effigy, black salt, and I think when I was reading this I was making up that big batch of black salt, which made it even more interesting. Okay, now we're moving on to Lodestone, and I'm keeping this on the plastic. It kind of makes a mess. It's one of the most powerful naturally occurring magnets on Earth. Here's what it looks when it's not all covered in stuff. I bought this off of Amazon right after reading this chapter. So as soon as I finished it, I ordered it. And I ordered the Lodestone food too. But you can see this stuff on here. I don't know if I can do this one-handed. This stuff on here comes off. It's magnetized on there. And I don't want to make a big mess. But I bought it because of this chapter. The history of it is so interesting. And it's a very important history, I would have to say. And the lore. But the best part is the craft section. This manifestation and attraction spell I am doing. I don't know. I might do it on a video about it. I should. I don't know if I'd get in trouble for that though. If I did something out of his book, would he get mad at me? I don't know. We'll worry about that later. There's also Lucky Lodestone oil that I want to try. The only thing is I'd have to get some more because you have to use pieces of a Lodestone in it. And I don't know if I break off... Oh, it's kind of dark. If I break off some of this, like a piece, it might be too small. I don't know. I'm definitely going to start off with the spell. And you can use this oil in that spell, but... we'll see. It just, this one really got me, and I think I need to add Lodestone to my manifestation work, like right away. It sounded fun. It sounds really good. It makes total sense. There's also a wayfinder. I kind of stopped after that first, these two, you can see I marked it, after the manifestation and attraction spell and the Lucky Lodestone oil. I kind of just ignored the rest because those were just, I'm doing those. Alright, next, I made a huge mess, is lead. And here's the picture of the lead. I'm glad to see that there's a word of caution here, warning about working with it being toxic and stuff. So I was really glad to see that. The science and the history part was really interesting, and the lore section is really, it's a large section. I think it's the longest in this book. Yeah, and then there's finally the craft. So, and then the craft, it's mentioned several times you can use fishing lead weights. I have lots of those, so I don't need to go out and buy lead. I've got lots of fishing weights. There's stuff for, well, here's a pencil lead curse. There's stuff for banishing. What else? There's a, is it this one? Yeah, Divination by Molten Lead. If anybody does this, if you buy this book and you do this part, please let me know. I want to see it. Record it. I don't care. Even if you just send it to me. I want to see this done. Toadstone. Okay, now, Toadstone starts, we're here in the back. So that's what a toadstone looks like. And what a toadstone is fascinating and a little gross. I don't want to go too much into it. I think you need to really experience that for yourself. The lore continued the fascinating information. FYI, if you owning one is really rare, so it's not like it's going to be really easy to get a toadstone, but if you're worried about getting poisoned, like you have that really big fear, I say it's totally worth it to find one. You should definitely get one if you're worried about getting poisoned. And then in the, yeah, see, it talks a lot about poisoning. Then in the craft part, it talks about consecrating it. There's an amulet, a psychic poison remedy. I guess psychic poison too, yeah. Next is the combined amber and jet. So there's amber and there's jet, and then I've got, here's my amber, and I've got a piece of jet too. And the jet, the way I tell my jet, I don't know if you can see on camera, there's some discoloring, something like grayish areas. So it looks really similar to like my black obsidian or my shungite, but I can always tell this is my jet because of, I don't know if you can really, oh, you can kind of see it right there. There's, it's not totally black. So I learned a lot about, so I knew that amber is like millions of years old sap, but I didn't know that jet is actually a fossilized tree. I didn't know that. They're found in similar conditions, and I guess at one point they were, some people even said that they were the same thing, which is why they're kind of together in this book. I learned a lot about both, especially in the lore section. I didn't know you could burn jet. To me, this feels like a hard, well, I guess this, see, to me, amber, it feels softer than the jet feels like a regular tumbling crystal, but you can burn, I don't want to burn this, but you can burn jet, and it's tumbled, so it's obviously, you know, amber has to be shaped, but jet, I guess, can be tumbled and you can burn it, which is fascinating. I learned, I'm very happy that I ignored my annoyance with the author and read this, because it was just, it was really fascinating. So, oh, there's the lore. Where is, it's got a pretty big lore section. So in craft, it talks about an incense blend, and then some divination, a necklace, Crossstone. This one was really interesting and a little confusing on the origins. The origins, pretty much all the stories of the origins involve someone crying, and a few of those were fairies. So, let me show you what it looks like. So there's Crossstone. So it's really cool looking, but I'm not really drawn to it. I think I'm more drawn to the Toadstone if I had to choose. And then in the craft, there's an amulet, a spell for grief. There's a road opener spell, curse breaking oil. And then we get into quartz. I've heard it called frozen light before, and I love that. And if you look, it kind of, I don't know, it really does look like, well, my hands are kind of making it look weird, but it does look like something frozen anyway, as my hands are freezing and I can barely hold on to it. So quartz is very common. It's found on all 7 continents. So, but the stone and lore are very interesting. Maybe because I've worked with quartz for a long time and it is so common, the lore has a ton of information, which was really good. I really liked that. And then in the craft, there's 3 weather magic spells. Crystalmancy, which is the art of crystal gazing or scrying. I have several pieces in storage. It would be perfect for this, you know, gazing into the crystal kind of thing. And then there's a conjuring spell, or conjuring spirits. Definitely not for beginners. If you do get this book and you try this, be very, very careful. And then there's some drawing down rituals. Moonstone. We know we've seen Moonstone on my channel before. Just a few months ago, I worked with it. So with Moonstone, it's probably the most fascinating stone and lore section of the book. I wish I had gotten and read this book before I worked with it last November. Yeah. Just this chapter itself is totally worth buying the book, I think. Especially like the lore, and it was so interesting. And then when the craft section, oh, there it talks about different kinds. This is, yeah, okay, we're in the craft. So there's list of properties and uses for different colors. It's got some glamour magic. There's some prophecy ritual. The psychic vision oil. Divination oils sounded really easy and really, really good. Also reminds me, I don't have much in my apothecary. I don't have mugwort. I don't have lemon balm. I have frankincense oil, but not in plant form. I have star pod, and anise, and small moonstone. So I could do that. But that reminds me, I need to work on my apothecary a little more. A Sweet Dreams pouch. And that was really great and really easy to do. Cycles and changes ritual that sounds great, but too dangerous for me living in a camper because it uses 13 candles. Small candles, but still, that's a lot of candles. Emerald. It's a healing. There's a lot of healing uses for emerald. The lore is pretty good. It's color magic. So, and then the craft, we've got a healing spell, a revelation spell for a person or situation where there's deception, a charmed speech talisman, good for convincing arguments or speeches, love and attraction potion, an invocation to witch's crown. It's a self-empowerment ritual. And then the conclusion is a really good wrap up of the book. And then there's lots of we've got lots of references in here. Lots and lots. So this isn't what I thought it was going to be, and I'm totally okay with that. I love this. It's a really good book. I was annoyed about the photos until I understood what was going on in the book, and I'm okay with that now. I understand why it's set up the way it is. This is not a book for beginners, though. Definitely for more advanced magic and crystals practice. If you're just starting off with crystals, I would say wait a couple years and then look at this. There's stuff in here that's really fairly easy and would be okay for beginners, but there's a lot of advanced information. And I think like a beginner would get confused real easy or overwhelmed, and you really need to figure out your practice before you start doing stuff like this. I'm excited to try some of the craft parts, and we'll be doing some Lodestone work, and I might show that in a video. I still need to figure out what I'm gonna do and when I'm gonna do it. So if you have any recommendations about books that you're curious about regarding crystals, let me know in the comments. I'm always up for, I want to do more book reviews, because you shouldn't get your information just from my channel, just from one source, the internet, or even really one book. So I think multiple sources is good. So I'm going to try to do more book reviews to let you know what I think, what's good, what I recommend. So I do recommend Nicholas Pearson's The Witching Stones when you're a little more advanced and more confident in not just in crystals, but your own magic practice too. So let me know if you have any questions or recommendations, and I'm sending you lots of positive energy, and I will see you next time.